It's the first installment for the week, and it promises to be another exciting one. Apologies for kickstarting the show a little bit, and but we're excited to give you all the stories, as I said, making the headlines in the world of sports. Over the weekend, it was thrilling when it comes to Formula One, where Carlos Sainz, against all odds, made it count. My name is Joseph. ATEWE saying welcome once again. And as I said earlier, the weekend was filled with action. In the Premier League, upset here, and the Chelsea Wolves definitely continues as they played out a goalless draw with Bournemouth. And there's so much talks with Mauricio Pochettino in regards to the Chelsea squad and what it brings to the table. For Arsenal, Trossard's goal was enough to give the Gunners a maximum 3 points. We'll also talk about that on the show this morning. And Gary Neville has come out to criticize the Manchester United squad, wondering if the bunch of players they have at Old Trafford are professionals. And of course, on the tracks, Toby Amuson made it count once again at the Diamond League. But as they say, charity begins at home, and we will be starting with the CAF Confederations Cup. Now, this is the technical advisor of Rivers United, Stanley Eguma, has stated that lack of competitive games affected the performance against ATEWE Filante. The Pride of Rivers on Sunday held a host ATEWE of Burkina Faso to a goalless draw in the first leg of the second round of the CAF Confederations Cup. Now, while speaking after the game, Eguma pointed out that their performance was not 100%, but still gave the players kudos. It will not be 100% performance because this is the first time we'll be in a competitive competition, but I gave them kudos to the players. Well, that's in his own words. Our tactical plans didn't fail us. We dominated the game and created more chances. By the time we work more of these tactics, the goals will definitely come. It's a good play at home. It's a fortress, and we are hoping our fans will come and cheer us. End of quote. Now, this new team, and we want our fans to come and cheer us when we are going to camp for the next leg, is stated. And well, they're hanging on the balance right now, having drawn their opponent. Don't forget the reverse leg will be in the next fortnight. That's the next 2 weeks when they'll be traveling to Burkina Faso to take on ATEWE Filante. And that's the name of the club. Not a good start for Benden Insurance as well, as they played out a 2-2 draw with Bakene FC, and it ended 2-2. But then we still have a chance to scale through. That's if they get something in the second leg. Don't forget, Rivers United held to a draw, and Benden Insurance also playing out a 2-2 draw with Bakene. So we can only wait to see what happens in the second leg. Now, away from Benden Insurance and Rivers United, yeah, let's talk female football, where we know the Sao Tome and Principe women's team has withdrawn from the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations, the first round qualifiers against Nigeria's Super Falcons. The game is scheduled for the Mobolaji Johnson Arena for Friday, September the 22nd, with the return leg scheduled for Tuesday, the 26th of September. A source confirmed to Paul Sports that the team has withdrawn from the qualifiers, and the Nigerian Football Federation has written to clubs to notify them about the withdrawal of Sao Tome and Principe. Recall that during the week, the NFF announced the Super Falcons squad for the game with confusion over the coach status. Among the 24 players invited for the Super Falcons camp for next week's first leg qualifying match for the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations against Sao Tome and Principe are goalkeepers Chiamaka Inadozie, midfielder Rashida Tajibade, striker Asisat Oshola, Odomebi, the team's captain, as well as the regulars Michel Aluzi, Rofia Timuran, Ifeoma Onumonu, Vivian Ikechukwu, and Gift Monday are all listed on the roster. Now, with the withdrawal of Sao Tome, 9-time African champion will play host to the winner of another first-round match between Liberia and Cape Verde during the second round stage, which is scheduled to take place from the 27th of November to the 5th of December 2022. Now, the biggest women football fiesta is on the continent, will once again be held in Morocco, which hosted last year's edition. So questions surrounding why Sao Tome have withdrawn. Well, they've cited financial issues here that they don't think is worth it playing with the Super Falcons, because at the end of the year, you and I know what the result might be, and they have withdrawn. But there's a sanction that will come, or that will follow that, because, I mean, we don't do that when it comes to CAF competitions, and I believe CAF will respond very soon. And of course, the sanction will be meted out to the Federation of Sao Tome and Principe. Now, away from that, before we talk about the NWFL, which has gotten a new date, let's talk about the sport minister. His name is Owan Eno. and he has described the SRF as a flip of comprehensive sport development. And according to the Guardian newspaper this morning, it says that Sport Minister Senator John Owen Eno has described the sport performance reward fund as the flip for comprehensive sport development, saying that it's a private sector that fails in line, or falls, I should say, in line with the New Hope agenda of the Tinubu administration. Now, speaking while receiving the trustees of the fund in his Abuja office, Senator Eno said the initiative had the potential to galvanize sport development from the grassroots to Olympic heights as parents, coaches, stakeholders, and businessmen and women see a sure reward at the end of the tunnel. The SPRF is set up to raise 10 billion naira that will go directly to rewarding sportsmen and women who win at the Olympics, Commonwealth, African Games, and the slated World Championships. The fund plans reward Olympic gold medalists with 10 million, silver with 7.5 million, and bronze with 5 million naira. Commonwealth gold will attract 5 million, silver 3 million, and bronze 2 million, while African Games gold will attract 3 million, silver 2, and bronze 1 million. Just a selected World Championship have the same rewards as the African Games. Now, the SPRF is represented by Board of Trustee member, and that is Dr. Joe Adam Kiagba and Godwin Enagana. The Executive Secretary told the Minister that the transparency model of the fund is foolproof, as all funds donated and expended will be posted on the website. The fund, which has one of its goals for attraction of massive private sector, the interest in sport, and the integration of a sport in Nigeria. What they're trying to say in a nutshell is that they're trying to attract some business persons, which they have gotten, and that's the SPRF, as the minister has described it, a flip for comprehensive sports development, and the goal is 10 billion naira. So we'll be waiting for the federal government to fund the sport ministry before athletes, when they come back from major competitions, are rewarded, and that is what they are trying to do at the moment. Now, away from the sport minister, let's talk about the NWFL. It has gotten a new date, and what we know at this point is that by next month, the 26th, the NWFL will kickstart. Don't forget that the playoffs are on at the moment, and Oshun Babes are still trying to remain in the NWFL, so they have a playoff match as confirmed by the Deputy Governor on Friday. Saying they have a playoff match will be taking place next week. Wait and see how it pans out. And when that is done and dusted next month, according to the organizers of the NWFL, it should kickstart. We can't wait. It's been postponed for the second time. And for the NPFL, you recall that it was postponed last week, making it the third time in a row, which has also cost, uproar among players, coaches, stakeholders, sport fans are questioning the capability of the Nigerian Football Federation and also those that run the NPFL, which is the Nigerian Premier Football League, and they're questioning the capability at the moment. But they have said a later date will be announced. We're waiting to hear from Elegbele, who is the head of that committee. And for the NWFL, it's the second time. And now we have a new date. Nigerians are patiently waiting to see if that will come to play. That's it on the local scene this morning as far as sports is concerned. I said in my intro that so much happened over the weekend in some of the top 5 leagues in Europe. A big win for Arsenal as AS Roma destroyed their opponent 7 goals to nothing. Romelu Lukaku was on the cards, and of course he made history. That and more we'll discuss when we return. Let's give you highlights from some of these matches. We'll be back.